Cheers. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're wondering who is this man with the gigantic bags under his eyes sitting before you today, I'm a Godot developer, very sleep deprived, over-caffeinated, doesn't work. I didn't realize that. Caffeine just doesn't work. I guess if you only get 2 hours of sleep a night, but anyway. I'm a Godot developer. Let me show you what I've done. I've only been doing it about 7 months, but I figured it's probably time for me to do a tutorial. And the reason I want to do a tutorial is because I need to learn how to do the things that I want to teach. If I teach it, then maybe it'll actually stick in this dumb brain of mine. So, that's what we're doing. All right, so just a little intro on me. This is the little project I'm working on. It's a little 3D RPG, gonna be kind of a Souls-like game. You can pick up weapons, you can equip them, you can pick up items. Inventory system has been a terrible thing to build, but we're finally getting there. You can hit these little guys and they burrow into the ground. I like that. And then you can back up and they dig themselves free and go about their day. All of the assets are made by me. I've been learning Blender and just 3D in general over the past, 6 weeks? Something like that. Anyway, I wanted to do a tutorial on signals because signals are something that I just never really understood, even though they're very, very basic. And what I want to do is try to make a system of signals to show how they work just from scratch without doing any sort of Googling, and we will see what happens. So let me get a scene set up. We've got a node 2D. I'm going to add another. I'll do a character body 2D for the player. Call him player. We're going to attach a script to the player. Blip. Okay, save this as main. I'll call this main. We're going to get rid of this gravity stuff and the jump velocity. Okay, this player is going to have a sprite. This is all just for visuals, right? So we're going to take this sprite, we're going to throw the icon SVG in it. It says no collision. That should be fine. Let's see what happens if we just run. Oh, wait. Select current. Okay, so it shows up there. You can move left and right. Okay, perfect. So what we'll do is we'll go to our main. We're going to grab our player. We're going to move him down to here. And then we're going to create a new node. Call a color rect, and this is just going to be to show, to have an area and to have something you can see on screen. So we're going to do an area 2D on this. Okay, so we'll add a collision shape to it. The shape is going to be a rectangle shape. I'm going to move it over here, and let's just make it bigger. Okay. Rough shapes here. We don't need to think about anything else. Okay. Color rect. We're going to add a script to the color rect as well. And then we're going to add some sort of label just to see when our signal does something. Label.text is going to be empty. And in our color rect script, we're going to create a reference to this. So we have label right there. And this is where we can get to some signals. So you have your basic signals, your default ones that are built into nodes. As you can see over here on the right side, I've got node, this little tab. And we can see all these kind of pre-built signals that we can connect. These are really easy. You don't have to do anything through code. They just kind of automatically work. But what we can do is we have this area 2D, And basically what we want it to do is change the label text when the player runs into this area, right? So we're going to have this player, he's going to run into this area, and we're going to change this label text. The label is currently right there. We can move it up a little bit so it goes right there. Okay, so it'll display, let's put it up there. It'll display a different text when we run into it. Now, how do we do that? We have this area 2D. This is for detection. That's the shape. And we have all of these pre-built signals here. So what we can do is do the body entered signal. And we can connect it to the color rect script. So we connect it to the color rect. The color rect has this reference to our label. And we can say, this is just, by the way, this is just if any body goes into it. Any character body, rigid body, static body, as far as I know, it will do whatever you do here. So what we want to do is say label. Currently, all we have is one player body, so it's just a character body. And there's only one of them, so we don't have to worry about checking whether or not it's the player or an enemy or, whatever it is. So we can just do this, where we just update the label. So label.text is equal to collision detected, right? Now, let's see what happens. Let me see if I have any bugs. Okay, we clearly have bugs. You know why? Because I do not have a collision shape here. Okay, so we give the player a collision shape first. And we will make it just a circle shape. Go to our 2D. We're going to make that radius 40? 70. Okay, make it really big. All right. We now have this. Now, player is currently on collision 1, and it looks at 1. Color rect is currently, area 2D is currently on 1, and it looks at 1. AKA, they're on the same layer, and they both look at the layer that they're on. So this will get ran into by certain things, and it will run into certain things. You can kind of think of it that way. Anyway, so now let's try this and hope it works. There we go. Boom. Collision detected. Amazing. Like magic. Very easy. If you wanted to check, make sure that it's the player, then you could do something like if body dot name, is it just name? Yeah. Is equal to player. I think you could just do this. Because this node is named player, it will only do something if the player runs into it. And anything else will just get ignored, right? So that's very, very easy. Now we could go to the player and add a label to him. And go to our player script. Okay, so we now have a reference to our label on our player, and we're going to do something similar, but instead we're going to connect it via code. On our color rect, we already have this script here, this signal that detects when we ran into it. Now what we can do from here is we can also call a signal that's built in the player script. So I could do something like signal player ran into thing. Actually, wait. Let me think here. Do I need to put this in the color rect? If I put it in here, then I can do player ran into thing dot emit. I think this is how I want to do it. So we can say that we want the player. This is why I'm doing it with no looking things up, because even now I have no idea what I'm doing. But this will help me actually retain this information. Okay. So this signal is declared here. It says player ran into thing. And then down here, we have this player ran into thing dot emit. So we've declared a signal up here. Signal player ran into thing. And then down here, we've emitted. Now, currently, nobody is listening for this, because a signal is basically, when you emit a signal, it's like shouting in a forest. But if there's no one there to hear, did it really happen? Probably not. But on our player script, we can go into our function ready, and we can do, I believe we need a reference. Yeah, we will probably need a reference to this, because I think we're going to need color rect. Yes, I believe this is what we need. So a reference to where the signal is getting declared, and then we need to connect it. So on ready, this is basically saying we are now going to listen for this signal. Now in this connect, we can pass in a function. So we can have a function down here, call it update label. And here we do label.text equals, and we could do player ran into thing. So now we are updating something on the player, even though the signal is in the color rect. But we have now connected, well, here we actually have to type it in. So update label. And I believe you don't want parentheses in there. You just want the name. So you don't want this little thingy here. You just want update label. Let's see if it works. If not, I'll have to remember how to do this stuff again. But here we go. Let's test it. Hey, look at that. Player ran into thing. I'm surprised I got it. I mean, I almost blew it starting out by adding the signal to the player script, when all you need is the connection. But hey, check it out. We now have signals. AKA, what you can do, and this is a really good way to do it actually, is you can have an auto load with a bunch of signals in it that you connect and emit from, and then all of your scripts can just connect to that auto load instead of, having a direct reference to this color rect, and you would have your auto load there. So if it's global or something, you can do global.playerIn into thing connect. And basically what is happening here is this is listening for that signal to get emitted, and it's running this function. That's all it is. In the color rect, we're just saying, hey, we have a signal here called player ran into thing. And when this function runs, it emits that signal. That's it. It's really not that much, even though it took me forever to kind of understand these things just because my brain is stupid. Oh yeah, that's signals. We're done. I am dying inside.